So Diablo has released its second episode, the Book of Lorath, called Sanctuary. Um, let's just take a quick look here. I always like to read the descriptions before I start the video, but I'm gonna react to it. It's funny. I had just uploaded the first episode. I'm a little late on these, but yeah, I didn't think they would release two episodes in the same week. I thought it would be one episode per week, but hey, I love these, so I love lore and everything. And the fact that it's titled Sanctuary, I'm guessing, and I kind of assumed this last time that it's going to be more about the Nephilim, the humans. Um, yeah, the Nephilim that devolved into humans. But yeah, let's see. It says, now let us speak of creation, of Sanctuary, and of our creators, Inarius and Lilith. Oh, yeah, and about these two, Inarius and Lilith, of course, the mother and father. Angel and demon, father and mother. Yeah, exactly what I just said. And the eternal conflict that rages ceaselessly in each of us. All the voices again. Shout out to Ralph Ianson, Lindsay Kerner, and Duncan Rawlings. The first one was great. I'm guessing this one's going to be great too. But I think that's enough of an intro. I'm gonna watch this and I'll probably pause at parts that I want to. Anyways, here we go. Book of Lorath, episode 2, Sanctuary.
You've returned,
Do it.
and with ale this time.
I have returned. I don't have ale though.
Wise choice for this dark story. The shadows will seem longer when it's done. Before we talked of Anu and Tathamet, the high heavens and the burning hells, and all who reside there, embroiled in the eternal conflict. Now let us speak of the creation of Sanctuary, and
Here we
our
go.
creators, Inarius and Lilith, Angel and Demon, our father and mother. The eternal conflict raged on, endless and all-consuming. Led by the Angelus Council, the angelic forces fought countless battles against the
Is that? I guess it's just figurative. That looks like Tyrael. That looks like Tyrael. I don't know who that is, but anyways.
of the seven demon lords who sought to conquer all of creation. Though the high heavens often defeated their adversaries, they also failed to
That bottom
destroy
one looks like Diablo.
allowing evil to return again and again and again.
Right.
Ceaseless, unrelenting.
We need expansions.
Both sides claimed victories. Both suffered crippling defeats. The conflict was a never-ending slaughter. Many of these battles were fought in pandemonium, the plane said to be formed from the violent death of Anu and Tathamet, where the heart of creation lay. The mountain-sized art.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So can I talk? Pandemonium. Jeez, I don't know what's wrong with me. I didn't know that was like, so that's like, either that was the battlefield for Temeneth or Anut, or that's like their corpses. Because I know they were so big, I guess their bodies, like, Anu's spine creates angels, well, from what we learned from the last episode. Anyways.
Come to be known as the World Stone, housed within the Pandemonium Fortress. Any who control the World Stone would have the power to create new worlds, or unmake them with a thought. A desirable and dangerous prize indeed. It became the focus of the eternal conflict. Over the eons,
I will say, go back a sec. This world stone from, in Diablo 2, this thing is like the size of it's within a mountain, but it's massive. So that's my always confusion is like people in the story in the lore of Diablo, like characters steal the world stone. How do you steal something that big? I guess magic, right? They can teleport it, I guess, but still, it's weird how something so big can be stolen. Anyways,
the focus of the eternal conflict.
it was in Mount Ariat.
The
Diablo 2.
Pandemonium Fortress changed hands many times. It became a strange place, embodying the warped reality of Pandemonium as
The artwork is so cool.
a structural and liminal place, affected by the high heavens and burning hells alike. Angels and demons, too numerous to count, have fallen at its gates, over and over and over again.
Eternal conflict.
This endless cycle caused Inarius, advisor to the Angelus Council and under Tyrael's command, to eventually conclude that the war could never be won, and he resolved to abandon it.
So I know he abandoned it, but see, I always thought this was weird. Yeah, it was like an eternal struggle. So I wonder why they just decided to keep fighting and not just in general. I know he abandoned the battle, but why didn't the angels and demons just come to a truce? It was like no one's winning. I guess they were too stubborn or prideful, maybe, to do that. But
Elsewhere, Lilith, daughter of hatred, was arriving at a similar conclusion. On her father
is
Mephisto's role in the eternal conflict, Lilith once wrote, "My father is content to fight the same battles and the same foes while everything turns to ashes. The war will never be won so long as he and his brothers lead. There is an end to it, but fools like my father are too blind to see it." Inarius and Lilith, angel and demon. Separated by a vastness in distance and experience that is difficult to comprehend, they came to the same
here
conclusion.
they are.
They must escape the eternal conflict. I wonder if the cosmos had ever contemplated such an unholy alliance and divine union. I wonder if creation shuddered in horror and awe as Inarius and Lilith gathered others to their cause, fellow renegades.
I'm gonna pause it really quick. I'm sorry. I do think this whole story is cool that the two, and I think it's going to go into this, how the union of a good entity, well, in general, the angels are the good, the demons are evil. I find this whole story cool. I'm not a, like, I'm not religious. Maybe there's something up there that'd be cool. Um, but I don't follow any direct religion. Um, but I do think this storytelling is just really cool. Like I even know I think in the Old Testament there were Nephilim. It was different than the Nephilim in Diablo. I think Nephilim in biblical stories and myth are like just giant humans, but they had nothing to do. I think they were actually created with angels and humans were Nephilim. So they're a mix of angel and human rather than demon and angel. But anyways,
Seeking escape from the ceaseless fighting. The details of their meeting, like so much of our history, is obscured by the relentless passage of time and
hope we
myth.
learn about their meeting.
But the great heraldic scholar Deckard Cain tells us of Inarius, wounded or marooned in the Pandemonium fortress, meeting with Lilith. Lilith was not spared the hatred of her father Mephisto, and from time immemorial had awaited an opportunity to rebel. For the first time, combatants in the eternal conflict not only set aside their differences, but also formed a union. It's difficult to imagine, but legends tell us that Inarius and Lilith forged an alliance that would alter the course of the war, reality itself, and all of existence. Inarius and Lilith pledged themselves to their joint cause of escaping the eternal conflict. United in purpose, both resourceful and wise in their way,
I was just gonna. This is just a little distraction. I like how he's wearing this big red cape. I don't think we've ever seen him. Maybe I'm just not remembering, but I don't remember him seeing that wearing that red cape in the game. I do think it's unique because almost all of the angels are like monotone or like one or two colors. It definitely makes
managed to gain
scenarios.
control of the World Stone and hide it from the watchful eyes of the heavens and the hells. Working together, they shifted the World Stone into a pocket dimension, hiding it from the opposing powers of the
So they
eternal
just
conflict.
teleported. I guess that's how they can hide something
There,
so big.
they used its extraordinary power to shape a new world. A refuge, free from war, free from unending strife. A sanctuary.
Yep.
The renegade angels and demons came together to create new life.
Oh, we've seen this art
And the
before.
nature of the eternal conflict changed. The joining of the opposing natures within these firstborn made beings unlike any before. Beautiful abominations called Nephilim,
Yep, here we go.
from which humanity would one.
And so this is where I was going. I mean, I kind of jumped the gun here, but yeah, this is where they talk about the Nephilim. But I do think it's cool that it very mildly ties into like actual mythology. Well, not. I mean, all myth is nothing's actual in myth, right? It's a myth. But you know what I mean? I love stories where they kind of draw inspiration from the real. And once again, I say the real world, but but myth we even though it's mythology from the real world, it's cool that they pull from that. Whereas instead of a it's Nephilim and biblical stuff was an angel and a human. In this, it's a demon and angel. And I actually like that dynamic more because when you think of Nephilim, or just humans in general, right? Humans can do good things, they can do bad things. You can almost see this being a real concept, right? Where if you believe in that kind of stuff, like, but yeah, humans came from because they can do good, they can do bad. So,
They descend
yeah,
as inheritors of both lineages. The birthrights of the firstborn grace them with the potential to resist the evil of the burning hells
firstborn.
and to defy the dominion of the high heavens.
Oh, yep. So there you go. I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about it that way. So yeah, like they have the ability to either ignore the evil intentions that demons would give them, or they could ignore the good intentions that the angels would try to. And it's weird that they say good and evil, but as we've seen, there are some bad angels and some good demons. It's very, I guess, the 1% chance that, but still. But I didn't even think about it the other way, where yeah, they can't be controlled by both angels or demons. They're kind of free
Because
will,
of this,
right?
many of the angels and demons who rebelled with Lilith and Inarius feared what these children might become. The burden of children can strain even the strongest of allies, and it seems that angels and demons are not immune to this simple truth. Surely Inarius and Lilith could not have foreseen the cosmic consequences of their actions. Inarius was alarmed when he realized that his children might surpass both angels and demons in potential. The other angels and demons fought fiercely over what should be done, whether to spare the Nephilim or exterminate them. The descent between
Hmm.
the two groups alarmed Inarius, who called for a period of reflection.
Well, that's interesting. See, I didn't. So this part is a little muffled for me. So I don't know the whole. He just decided he was like neutral at first. I thought he just right away was like humans or not humans. Oops, just bumped my mic. I know he thought Nephilim were a threat because yeah, they had the potential to be more powerful than angels or demons. So I thought right away he was like, we need to get rid of them. But no, he was actually neutral at first. I didn't know that. So that's new to me.
Lilith, driven into a mad frenzy by the threat of her children's extinction, ruthlessly murdered each and every renegade angel
I
and
knew
demon,
that. Yeah, Lilith.
leaving only Inarius to discover the carnage she had wrought.
Oh, we pause it there. It's a good pausing spot. I did know that part that Lilith wiped everyone out because I don't even know if you call it stereotype. But, the mother, the one. I don't know how these Nephilim were technically born. I don't know if Lilith was pregnant or not, but a mother usually gives birth children and is very protective of their children in most cases. And even think about it, that's even unique. She's a demon, right? So you'd think as a demon, she would not give a shit about her children. Maybe I don't know, but she did. So funny enough, she was technically like the protective mother, good if you want to call it that, in this scenario, trying to protect them from being, from the human race or Nephilim from going extinct.
Horrified by the loss of his comrades at Lilith's hand, Inarius became enraged. But still he could not kill Lilith. Instead, he banished her from the sanctuary they had created together. Inarius then attuned the World Stone to diminish the powers of the Nephilim over time,
Nerfed him,
and disappeared in the aftermath. As
nerfed
their
us into
strength
humans.
faded generation by generation, they came to resemble mortals, no longer angelic or demonic, simply human. And as their power diminished, so too did their collective memory, until only legends of what came before remained. It is said that the firstborn remained immortal and undying as humankind took shape, giving rise to the cultures, kingdoms, and tribes of Sanctuary.
Huh. You mentioned that the firstborn remained immortal. So the firstborn, I'm pretty sure, like Rothma, right? The literal descendants of Lilith and Anarius are very close descendants. Like they kept their immortality like angels and demons do. So that's interesting. So I wonder. I do hope we meet some of them. I mean, I know some people probably wouldn't want to, but I think it'd be cool to like meet the first barbarian, Bolkathos, or the first druid, the first sorceress. I think Etha. I don't remember. Like I said in my previous video, I don't know their names. No, we're almost at the end here, so I guess we're not going to learn about them. But yeah, I hope we learn a little bit about them.
before themselves fading into myth.
Firstborn.
Now you know the birth of our world and our inheritance, demonic and divine.
Very
The
cool.
eternal conflict.
I love this
that
stuff so
rages
much.
within
So
the
cool. I'm a huge lore nerd, especially for stuff I.
Think on that, young scholar,
Wait.
until we meet again. None of us is above sin or immune to evil's seduction. Even the most righteous may fall, given the right push in the wrong direction.
Cool. Um, I do hope there's a chapter 3. It didn't really last time. Kind of foreshadowed in episode 2. I do hope there's. I mean, I'm guessing there's an episode 3. There'll probably be stuff next week. Where's a good pausing point? There we go.
To that joint.
I'll leave it right there. But yeah, I thought this was awesome. I hope you guys like enjoyed. I still don't know if pausing during it's good or not. I like to pause. I like to process and think about what's being said. Um, but I thought this was a great episode. I wish there was a little more on the actual. Like I thought this episode 2 would be called like just Nephilim because it definitely started with like kind of just a family tree explaining everything. So I was hoping we would get like a secondary family tree of like the firstborn and their children, or maybe. But I guess that stuff's not that important. I mean, this is cool too. I am glad that this is basically Sanctuary, right? So they're basically giving you. They did this with Dragonflight in Warcraft. The Dragonflight, those artistic, these beautifully drawn things would kind of give players that maybe don't remember the lore about the Dragonflight, right? That was about the Dragonflight. But anyways, in this, it's basically giving background story that was basically in a lot of books, in some dialogue that you might have missed playing the game, lore books. So I think this is great for all newcomers that maybe this is their. And it's funny, I've read some comments, and a lot of this Diablo 4 is the first Diablo game for a lot of people. I've been playing Diablo since 2000, so it's been 23 years. Insane, right? I haven't played it all that time throughout the years, but I've always kept up with the lore and the stories and everything. So basically, they did the internal conflict and Sanctuary. I have no idea where they're going to go next if there's a third chapter, but I thought this was fantastic. I love these. I love the art. I love the narration. We have a new Deckard Cain, basically. I'll miss Deckard Cain's voice, but I think it was time. After the third Diablo, this is a new chapter, new saga. It's 50 years later. Even if he had not spoiler died, Diablo 3, he would be long dead now. So, anyways, this was great. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my thoughts and reactions to the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.